in the UK, the far left, because of how embarrassing this is, these are the people who claim to protect women. They claim to be defending minorities and defending women, and here they are violently attacking a female journalist. We've had last week a Pakistani preacher who is banned from every mosque in Pakistan. He's banned from preaching in Pakistan. He flies into my country and he's touring the mosques of our country, giving radical sermons, inciting murder upon people. But don't worry, because our border agency have got Lawrence Southern, and that is the true crime. If a woman gets her hijab pulled off, it's on world news. Our daughters are getting scolded on their bum with the property of Mohammed. They're getting their tongues nailed to tables. They're being raped from one end of this country to the other. And we're supposed to just tolerate and put up with it, because if not, we're racists or extremists. The Home Office are labelling me an extremist who incites religious and racial hatred for simply talking about these crimes.
All right, joining us into the next hour is not just the man of the hour. The last few years, Tommy Robinson has just been on fire. He's been exposing the recruiting of little girls for sex slavery that's now mainstream news in the UK, thousands per town. One small town had 4,000 groomed, some of them murdered, disappeared, flown overseas. He's been imprisoned, put in general population with Muslims. They've tried to kill him. He goes out with his family to picnics, and Islamists attack him. He kicks their butt. And then the police throw him out of the town. Now he went to Italy, where famous Italian journalists, females, go and get beat up at the no-go zones. I've been in Rome, and the police say, oh, it's incredible. If you even go to the parks or under the trees, there's just thousands of North Africans just sitting around. They attack you. But the media says there's no such thing as no-go zones. So he goes there. Some North Africans try to attack him. He knocks one of them out. They say, we're going to kill your family, and start trying to punch him, and he smacks them. Then they are... Well, he'll tell you the whole story behind the viral videos of 10 Antifa thugs attacking him and his female reporter. They fight back, and Antifa runs. He knocks down at least 4 of them. I mean, these soy boy meth heads cannot take a punch, but it's incredible, and how they show up all of a sudden with the police watching. I believe the police were coordinating this, because he's under Sadiq Khan there. So Mr. Robbins joins us. Here is some excerpts of the video. And you can follow him at T Robbins New Era on Twitter. He has his new video site. He's left Rebel Media. And I got to say, it's been explosive since he left. Rebel didn't want him to get killed, which I understand. He's now out on the streets. Everywhere he goes, he gets patted on the back by Christian Africans and by Sikhs, and Indians love him because they know they've been under Islamic attack. But the Antifa communists with Sadiq Khan and his police are out to shut him down. We've had reporters trying to get into the UK. Laura Southern from Canada, they got arrested. Others got arrested. That's on Infowars.com. But let's go to excerpts of what happened in Italy and what just happened in London. Here it is. Now, what's amazing is Tommy doesn't say mean things to these people. They come up and try to attack him in Rome, you name it. We're going to find out what happened behind this. And we haven't even shown you the beginning of the footage. We'll roll that in a few minutes after we've talked to Tommy and given him opening statements. But I'm just setting this up here. He's in a McDonald's parking lot, and 10 men come up. He's backing away. They start attacking him. He defends himself. So trying to hit him. He goes at him first, which is smart when 10 guys are coming around you if you can't get away. The media spun it like Tommy Robinson got in a fight. No, masked men attacked 2 reporters, and the 2 reporters fought back, and the cowards ran. That's the real headline. What is the real headline here, Tommy Robinson? Incredible. You are on fire. You are on fire, my friend.
Thanks, Alex. The real headline is, do you know where, all the way through this, I knew at certain points, with Lucy and with George as well, who are the camera team with us, I knew we'd get attacked. at certain times, but I never thought they'd go for Lucy. I guess I thought too highly of them. I thought they had morals. So I always said, and as soon as they turned up and I saw the mask, I basically getting out of the car, I looked across, I see 7 men coming towards me with masks, and then I stood and I tried to move away from Lucy. I thought they'd all go for me. So I thought, that's sound, I'll move away, they'll all come for me. They didn't. They sectioned off. One went to George and one went to Lucy. And then, as you can see, he starts attacking Lucy. He's wrestling on the floor with her. But to be honest, Lucy gave as good as she got. Lucy gave as good as she got, and he ended up, she was kicking him and hitting him. And even at the end, I looked over and even see George, the other camera lad as well, scuffling with them as well. But they were masked up. They were ready to attack us. And as you're right, straight after this, the police have turned up. They've done nothing. Even I found out, I walked around the corner to where these men were. There was at a mosque, because there was at a mosque at a communist alignment between the Kurds and Antifa. They were joining up for this day. I've actually got leaflets and show that they were practicing fighting techniques. And it was,
by the way, I was told by the hostage rescue team and the FBI, and this started coming out later, we were told the day after Vegas that it was Kurdish groups with Antifa, with Saudis that carried out the attack, and now it's coming out in the news that they have merged with them. So yes, tell us why they knew where you were, why they attacked you in a McDonald's parking lot, why were they ready for you? Break that down for us.
The only thing I can think is we was in that McDonald's car park. I'd been in McDonald's, we was in the car park for 30 minutes. So someone must have spotted us. And the more I get people look at me funnily wherever I go. But I think it's because they realise who I am. I remember a girl standing there with her hood up, and I can still see her face. So I think it must have been her. And then they've made the call. And what I realised was there was 100 of them. Round the corner, there's 100 of them. When I went back round there, there's 100 of them in a mosque, Antifa, all their leading members, and they're having a practice day where they're practicing their fight club. And they're practicing training to attack the fascists. And lo and behold, that's what happened. But
well, they better get some more training. I mean, it looks like you knocked down at least 4 of them.
Well, look at my face, Alex. If seven men want to come masked up, ready to do damage, why am I sitting here looking pretty?
Well, the number people said was 10, but I guess you actually fought 7, correct?
There's 7. Yeah, 7. And one went, but they must have had it planned as well, because they broke off straight away. One went for the camera girl, one went for the cameraman.
Well, why can't they take a punch? I mean, you're smacking them pretty good, but they are just like, they think it's a video game. It's the same thing when the bodyguards of Michael Moore hit me, and it's on video in my film Martial Law, and I hit them back. They're like, why'd you do that? I'm like, dude, same thing happened to Michelle Malkin's bodyguard. He bumped into me. I punched him right in the stomach with my elbow, and he started crying. It's like, yeah, dude, it's a two-way street. Sorry, go ahead.
That's how there's a few other minutes that were missing from the footage from where they grabbed the cameras. But the situation was that because there's so many of them, every time one of them was coming at me and I'd go to punch back or fight back, then one of them would come from somewhere else. And yeah, but as I said, they didn't do a very good job. And what currently is happening is in the UK, the far left, because of how embarrassing this is, these are the people who claim to protect women. They claim to be defending minorities and defending women. And here they are violently attacking a female journalist on her own, violently throwing her on the floor. And here they are. And then because of this situation, I mean, that most of the left and even journalists are coming out saying it's a staged fight. And the other thing is, I'm going to find these people. So we will have follow-up videos coming out once I do find out who they are. I'm on the process of finding out a few of them. So.
All right, stay right there. Stay right there. You're my hero, man. You already were, but this is amazing. Here's the deal. For 6 months, he's wanting to work with us, and I want him to. I've just been trying to get the Capitol to do it right, because this guy needs a big platform. But we're going to be right back. I want him to just have the floor, recap where he was, why it happened, what's coming next, and what happened in that missing space. What happened in that missing space? We're going to talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited because Tommy Robinson is on fire. And he's got a new website as well that he's going to tell you about here in just a moment. But I'm going to try to shut up. I get so excited. He's going to tell you the missing tape while the camera people had the cameras knocked out of their hands, while the woman's being attacked by what I see as what people count as 10 Antifa, but I guess 7 that attacked him, and then some women that were reportedly saw him and were part of it also reported, because around the block, Antifa was training at a mosque to do just this very thing. And so imagine this. Tommy Robinson is just driving around. He pulls up, he's in a car park by a McDonald's. They recognize him. And by the time they come back out, they're being attacked. He tries to draw them off. So you've got the floor. Break down where you were, what happened, where it is in London, what the mosque is doing, and then we'll tie this into your trip to Europe, reporters not being allowed into the UK. I mean, this is serious. Your Islamic mayor, Sadiq Khan, please continue.
Yeah, so basically what's concerning is that there's a Kurdish mosque and Antifa were holding a training day in the mosque, and they had guest speakers, and one of the conditions, with all the stuff I found, one of the conditions was they can't have any alcohol because they have to respect the martyrs. Now, I was aware that the Kurdish struggle was also a communist struggle. That's what I was also aware of. But seeing the two align completely, seeing them come together using the same facilities, seeing them share speeches and platforms about how they're going to tackle fascism, which basically means anyone that's not a socialist or communist, yeah, it's a worrying sign, because usually Antifa try to wind the Muslims up. But here they are with what people would say is the most liberal of Muslims, joining and aligning on their left-wing views or their far left agendas. Now, we was in the car park. As I've said, I didn't think they'd attack Lucy. Stupid me, they did. They attacked us. But even the police's response, there's another video. There's a 50-minute long video where after this attack, I walked to the mosque. And when I get to the mosque, all the police are there. And they're saying, they're saying, get back, go away. I'm saying that the gang of men that just jumped me are in there. What are you going to do about it? And they do nothing. They actually say, well, because you can't identify them because they had masks on, which if you reverse these situations, reverse the roles for 1 minute, you've got a Muslim woman and you've got a Muslim man. And then 7 or 8 young white men, non-Muslims, come and attack them, jump them and beat the girl up and physically assault them. The police would shut that entire venue down. They would make sure they get the video evidence of every single bit of clothing that every single individual is wearing. They would launch a massive investigation. They would go and get the CCTV from every single building within the vicinity. They would put it on the national news. Politicians would talk about
it'd be white supremacist hate crimes committed against a poor, innocent Muslim woman. It'd be the #1 story in the world. But because it wasn't, they shut it down.
Well, no one's even spoke about poor Lucy, really. No one spoke about her. I haven't seen one journalist. No one's contacted her. No media have contacted her. She's violently attacked for being a journalist. They're journalists. But yet every single report from the mainstream media, Tommy Robinson fighting with masked men. No, that's not how it was. Tommy Robinson was getting a burger from McDonald's, and and his camera girl and his cameraman were violently attacked by a gang of thugs.
The headline should be, give us the headlines. We're going to name this video that. I mean, you're absolutely right. A gang of masked thugs viciously attacked female reporter. Media covers it up. I mean, that's really the headline.
And police refuse to act. Police refuse to deal with it. The police actually said, I looked around and I said, there's a CCTV camera straight above my head. I want that footage because that will show all of it. I want all the footage. But of course, they said, unless you can identify them. And then when they're talking about the crime, they said, oh, it's a public order. It's not public order. It's a violent, politically motivated hate crime, which is what you keep going on about. It's a hate crime. They are purposely targeting of us because of our beliefs. We've been violently attacked. We've been robbed. They smashed the camera. They stole the microphone, a £500 microphone. It's a street robbery as well. But none of these charges have been brought or looked into or investigated. It's just, that's it. You got beat up, they're gone. The police are actually standing with them.
Well, you know the answer. You need to recruit a Sikh or an Indian to go undercover and record the mosque and blow their entire operation. It's time for covert action.
It should be. It should be. And to be honest, what I said is when they do this, so when these videos go viral, they expose themselves. They expose themselves, and we're always, what the media do is they use it no matter what to try and tarnish me or defame me or slander me and bracket me as a thug, as a violent hooligan. So that if someone's going to come up to me, the same in Rome, if someone's going to threaten your life, if someone's going to violently attack you, you're going to fight back. And that's all I've done. And usually, to be honest, Alex, I have to put my hands behind my back in so many situations. There's been so many times when I've been punched first, when I shouldn't have been punched first. It's like this situation there you're watching. People would only be happy if I let him stab me. So I'm fed up of being a punch bag, if I'm honest. I'm fed up of continually having to not act with my instinct and defend myself because I'm constantly worried of being prosecuted and put in prison because I know that the system and the government...
And let's be clear, they've got you on probation, even though they're overthrowing your conviction on it right now. They took your house, everything, because you fought back when Muslims attacked you. You now go to the houses of the people that are saying they're going to kill you. I mean, this is just insane, the climate there.
The climate, in the last... I've watched, and I am, for the first time in a long time, I am very, very worried. I'm very worried because I watched as when Darren Osborne, who was a white man who drove a van into Muslims outside a mosque, when the police opened up that court case, one of the biggest terrorist court cases in our country, especially with the media, of course, because he was white, when they opened up that court case, they opened up with a blatant lie. They said that he had direct Twitter messages with Tommy Robinson.
And they also blamed InfoWars, I should add.
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. And they didn't warn me. And when they'd done that, the media run with it everywhere. Now, because of that, and since then, the lead officer in counter-terrorism, a man called Mark Rowley, he come out 2 weeks ago and he gave a speech where he said Tommy Robinson is just basically the same as Anjem Choudhury. Anjem Choudhury is the leader of a prescribed terrorist organisation. 60% of Muslims in British prisons for terrorism are ex-members of his organisation. He wants to throw gay people off rooftops. He wants to bury women in the floor and smash rocks at their heads. And I want to stop him. And somehow that puts us on the same level. And I've watched as they've upped it and upped it and upped it. And even now, with Brittany Pettibone, who's a young American girl, her and her partner flew into the UK 4 or 5 days ago. They were held at customs. They were arrested. They were detained and put into a detention centre full of Muslims for 3 days before they were deported. Now, the Home Office said the reason she was not allowed in, the reason she was detained and the reason she was deported was because she was coming to interview Tommy Robinson. She's coming to interview me. Today, so that's what happened with her. Today, they've just held Lauren Southern and they've deported her and banned her from our country again. This is, so I've watched as everything, they're up in the ante and they're trying to build me up as a preacher of hate with zero evidence.
That's right, stay there. We got to go to break. This is critical. Brittany Pettibone held for 4 days. Lauren Southern held as terrorists. They even have the printouts. They're not racist, any of that stuff. They're part of a free speech group. And we have the footage of in Europe when they get kicked back out of England, coming back, and Tommy went there to interview him. He is a busy man. Let me tell you something. I admire him. I mean, he made me feel so strong when I saw him in that video this weekend fight. It gave me a lot of strength, and it flipped something in my mind. It just let me know just how bad our enemies are and just how dedicated they are to enslaving us. We'll be back as humanity awakens. Stay with us. Well, we've been working on a plan to get Paul Watson and Tommy Robinson together because Paul is amazing. He probably reaches as many people as I do, and I had to tell him 6 years ago, I said, listen, I'm cutting your pay in half. He doesn't do it for money. That's the problem, too. All he does is work. And he's so humble that he didn't want to be on air. And I said, Paul, you're super articulate. His brother's got a PhD in international affairs, just as smart as Paul. He doesn't even want to be seen or heard because he's just so humble. Steve Watson, just as smart as Paul. And, he just wants to run his folk festival, music festivals. He runs some pretty big festivals. He's successful in that route, and he writes articles for InfoWars. But I told Paul, I said, you're going on air. And I said, here's your website. Here's your Twitter account. He had no followers or nobody on it. I said, here it is, called Prison Planet. He didn't even want it to be named after him. He said, oh, it's too much fancy if it's my name. Let's say it's behind the scenes. Just maybe Prison Planet, make one for me. And I said, okay, you're doing it. So maybe we can get this guy from London. They're a little more aggressive, teamed up with Paul, the little Northern Viking. So we'll get the Brittany, with the Viking from the north, and we'll get something going here because these two are going to be the dynamic duo, especially with his crew. And by the way, Lucy Brown, you know, I was watching the footage in fast motion. She has gray hair. I think maybe that's that style, because she's actually an attractive-looking woman now that I pause it. I was saying, here's Antifa attacking an old lady, but then I started watching. Tell us about Lucy Brown. Tell us about all this, and then other tidbits of what happened when the cameras were knocked out of your hands. I think you said for several minutes what happened there, and then into the reporters that were kidnapped for 4 days for trying to enter the country to talk to you.
That's it. So I met Lucy and I met George and Gillian, which is our team. I met them on an interview, actually. I met them on a discussion a year ago. And then if people look, any of my viewers will know, look at videos we've done in the last 4 weeks. Since my
You've exploded. You've exploded. It's like a bowling ball was taken off your leg, or right?
We're back. Yeah, we're back. Because we exploded when we first started working together. We exploded as soon as we first come together for Rebel, but then there was whatever happened. Not to talk about it, but
look, I get it. Rebel doesn't want you to get killed. You're a great patriot, a star, but you're a warrior, so you're staying out in the streets. I'm not. I mean, I understand, you know, why you guys had friction, because, you know, they didn't want to get you killed. I don't want to get you killed either. That's why I want to get enough capital in to get you some security, brother, you and Paul, because you guys are going to hit the ground running.
Yeah, that's it. The stories for me are out on the street. The stories are out on the street, and to be honest, yeah. So even in the last 4 weeks, people can probably even sense off myself. I'm happy doing this. I'm happy. I'm happy. I feel like I'm doing what I wanted to be doing again. And yeah, I'm happy. And I'm not, yeah, I'm happy. So I'm happy because I know it's having an effect. It's having a change. And
well, I want you to know your spirit gives me incredible energy. And now that you're turning it loose, I'm not kidding. I feel stronger and I'm more aggressive and have more hope because of you.
No, that's a good fit. Well, I get that. When I meet members of the public and I see how much it means to them and I see the reaction I get off them, it empowers me. Empowers me. And to know that it's making a difference. But that's when I was on your show last week, I spoke about how we had the upper hand in 2016. We had the media. We had the social media. We took it, we used it, and the authorities and the system, the globalists, did not know what to do with it. But now they're taking it back. They're regaining, then pulling back their power. Whether it be taking my blue tick off, I was suspended from Twitter last week for 7 days for simply stating a fact. I see the situation coming in the next 12 months where I'm completely removed from social media completely. And that's why we've now got to all team up to magnify everything here, because we've gotten so big they're having trouble actually deleting us. Absolutely. So this is critical. Yeah, you've got to the stage where they can't get rid of you. But what they're witnessing with me, the reason why they've just done this with Lauren Southern, what's insane is they've welcomed all these immigrants in. They've welcomed ISIS fighters back. I spoke yesterday and said
they put them in they put them in the best Section 8 housing. Tell folks.
Well, one of the men, there was a man in Italy. He's a Moroccan living in Italy. He tried to fight for ISIS. He was stopped. He told the border agency, "I want to become a terrorist." And then 3 months later, after all of his details were put on the European database to be watched, he just strolled straight into London, moved to our country. Now think about that. He's tried to join ISIS. He wants to be a terrorist. Our border staff didn't stop him, didn't arrest him, but they stopped Brittany Pettibone. They stopped Lauren Southern. They didn't stop him. He went on to kill 8 people and injure 48. We've had last week a Pakistani preacher who is banned from every mosque in Pakistan. He's banned from preaching in Pakistan. He flies into my country and he's touring the mosques of our country, giving radical sermons, inciting murder upon people. But don't worry, because our border agency have got Lauren Southern. So everything's all right. So what the reality is... Because the globalist, it's all in the UN plan. They admit they're going to bring in Islam as their enforcer. They get Christianity gone so that you have no culture, even if you don't believe in God, folks. The point is it's an operating system for them. They get rid of that so you have no culture. Then they bring in the new culture, and they make you submit to it. And it's all in the Peter Sutherland, UN globalist, Juncker, the unelected, dictator of the EU, the heir to the Nazi fortune. That's what I mean. You cannot make this up. You cannot make up how evil they are. Now I want to play this clip from where you are in Europe. Set up this clip of
Pettibone, Brittany Pettibone, and her boyfriend coming out. You've got the folks there in German, you know, chanting about free speech. Media's calling them rot Nazis. All they are is a free speech coalition group, and demonizing folks' speech. So set this up. We'll play the clip. Again, was this Austria or was this Germany where they flew back into?
They were getting deported to Austria. So Brittany was coming to interview me. She was arrested, held, detained, and they were deporting her. So I thought it was important that we were waiting for her in Austria. So as she come through the airport, and if I'm honest, it was a beautiful moment. When they returned and I looked and I saw probably up 50 to 100 people who were greeting them at the airport, who were singing a song about free speech and free thought. And I realized what it meant to these people, what the values of freedom of speech meant to them. And then I felt humiliated that my country has just detained this couple, Martin Selner and Brittany Pettibone. They've been detained, they've been imprisoned, and now they've been deported. Martin Selner, who's Brittany's partner, he was coming to give a speech at Speaker's Corner. Speaker's Corner, for anyone who doesn't know, in London, there's 300 years of history. It's known as where you can go and say whatever you want.
And so now you realize that your own country, let's play the clip as a time, you now realize your own country's going pure authoritarian, where actual Brits and others have no speech, or Canadians coming in to speak. You have no speech, but the foreign invaders do, backed up by your Islamic mayor and the globalists. Let's go to that clip.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Welcome home. Welcome home, Brittany. Welcome home, mine. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
We've got quite a reception waiting for you.
Yeah, wow. Okay, we didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
Right, can I ask, how are you feeling?
I'm just thankful for all the people who supported us, everybody who tweeted, people who made demonstrations in front of embassies, and especially the brave guys who went to speech corners today. They're the backbone of our resistance.
Can you briefly tell us what happened?
Yeah, so it was separate for us. So he was denied entry for a different reason. I was denied entry because I said I was going to interview you. And so I have the immigration statement. I'll show it to you, and it says you're denied entry because you want to interview far-right activist, far-right extremist Tommy Robinson, who incites racial hatred. And so Martin actually mentioned, he was like, why don't you let her through and she can do her interviews and I won't go, and then the event won't take place, so it'll be fine. They're like, her situation's worse because she's going to interview Tommy. Yeah.
We wanted to give a speech about freedom of speech there, but they wouldn't even let us go to Speaker's Corner. And I think sometimes a speech you don't give speaks more.
This is beautiful. A beautiful reception.
It's great.
Welcome home. Welcome home.
Much.
Thanks, Tommy.
Welcome home.
So let's talk about what happened. Germany lost 22 million people in World War II, getting swindled into that war by Hitler and the globalists. We're going to go to break, come back with Mr. Robinson, the fourth hour here. But now the left can't stop. They bring people in, they do race-based garbage. And then when people try to resist it, they say, you have no right to exist. And the Green Party and all of them in Germany say, it's time to get rid of white people. They're inherently evil. And then when young people come together and say, no, that's not true, then they call them Nazis and say they have no speech. This is a globalist plan to destroy all culture, exploit the third world, everybody. It's an admitted plan. And they hate Mr. Robinson because he goes and speaks to the black African groups, and he goes and speaks to the Sikhs and everybody else, and is open for all that as long as you're for everybody else's freedom. Everybody else is compatible, but the Islamicists and the left they're allied with. We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. We need your support. Free shipping ends today. InfoWarsStore.com. Without you, we cannot defeat the globalists. InfoWarsStore.com. All right, Tommy Robinson's on fire. He's with us at least another 30 minutes. Then we're going to have Rob do, Owen Schroyer, Jake Lloyd, our reporters, at the scene of the third bombing. 2 today, 1 a week ago in Austin, Texas. It looks like Antifa, anti-gentrification attacks. The reason I say that is they've said they're going to start attacking and bombing and shooting. They've already attacked old people, cat cafes, weird meth head white people leading usually mentally ill minorities. I'm not just saying that. It's usually like mentally ill minorities led by white people, communists. So, and I'm not like trying to virtue signal towards the minorities that are the majority now in most areas. It's communist white dirtbags leading it, okay? And that's what it is. And then they're funded by big foundations and drive around in Jaguars and Mercedes. And when we looked up some of these people, we infiltrated some of their meetings. We put some PIs on them. And they're all rich kids. So I thought they were just meth heads or something in their mom's basement. No, these are corporate people. Their parents make $1 million a year, $500,000 a year. One of them heads up Time Warner here in town. And then they're out there leading this crap. I mean, these are evil people. So, yeah, we've been following you to your houses and stuff. Start threatening our reporters and stuff. We've got at least 20 of the leadership of Antifa, where you live, what you're doing. We're not playing games, okay? And Tommy Robinson isn't playing games. So I'm going to make an announcement coming up in the next segment. This one's short. But, Tommy, other key tidbits about the Antifa attacking you, your female camera person, all of this stuff. You were talking about what happened when the cameras were knocked out of your hands. What more on the missing minutes?
So the missing minutes, and the reality is, since I went independent, so I went independent, and everyone who's been working with me have been working with me voluntarily, because we didn't have funding and we didn't have support. So George, Kaylen, Lucy, and then we've been making do with not good equipment. So we weren't ready, and our equipment weren't great. We should have body cams, we should have cameras on the cars, but we didn't have, because we're just starting to get organized now.
And don't get into too much details, but exactly, you don't even have money for solid state body cams. You guys have already infiltrated, we can't get into it, but then the system failed.
Yeah, the system failed, yeah.
Keep going.
So basically, without saying too much, we want to help, or we want to do to Antifa what they've done to us. We want to make sure that everyone, exactly what you said, I'll be honest with you. We had two of their lead people, we've had people sat outside their houses with cameras photographing them and their movements, and these people think they're invisible. They think that no one knows who they are or where they are. And they think that they can sit there and they can put people's addresses out, and they can make threats to kill and murder, and they can incite violence against anyone who has a different opinion without there being a repercussion. And I'm not talking about violent repercussions. I'm talking about exposés on who they are and what they're up to.
Well, if I told Antifa in Austin, who has now been watching them on their own time, they would crap their britches. I mean, former intelligence heads of the most elite military units, you name it, are just tired of it. And I think, though, they're going to false flag their own people to blame us. So we don't want any violence against them. We're just going to catch them in crimes and make sure they go to prison.
Yeah, and that's what, to be honest, I'd sit confidently and say that those men that attacked us, they wouldn't have heard the end of it. So they will, and the thing is, they wear their masks, they hide their identity, and they think they're invisible. And at some point, those masks are going to get pulled down, and they're going to have cameras in their faces, and then we're going to see what the men they are.
Well, you're too strong, you're too dedicated, you're too focused, you're too manly. You got to worry about the government that's been hijacked by the globalists and Sadiq Khan, the city you live in. They're so arrogant, I think they're going to probably try to kill you. They don't understand I'll turn you into a martyr, but they just don't get it. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, what they've done is, so they let terrorists in. They know who these terrorists are. They watch them, they do nothing. They let them blow things up. They're all on the watch list. And then they use those crimes and those terrorist attacks to bring in new laws to take away more freedom, and then those laws that they bring in, they use against us. They put on us. They put on Lauren Southern. She's held under the Terrorism Act today, arrested under terrorist legislation, and deported from our country. Meanwhile, bearded jihadis just stroll back.
That's right, stay right there. Imagine a whole gang of thugs training with communist Islamicists at a mosque, learn from one of their operatives that Tommy Robinson is at a McDonald's with his camera lady, and then they come over and attack the woman to get the camera, viciously start beating her. She fights back, he fights back, and then they run as cowardly scum. And the police are all there and do nothing. Tommy Robinson's our guest at the bottom of the hour. Then we have reporters on the scene of the third bombing in Austin. You cannot make this up. So we're going to talk to Owen Schroyer, then Rob Dew, and, of course, Jake Lloyd. And then this has been in the works for 6 months. I want to publish his book, Muhammad's Quran. It's already a bestseller in Europe, here in the U.S., because I want you to hear what Muhammad actually said, and then I want to hire him. But I said, let me finish up with all this stuff till I know the budget. I just can't wait. They keep hitting us with other torpedoes. We're moving forward. That's why I gave $20,000 to Project Veritas, because they do incredibly great work. And the lawyers told me, they said, the footage they have of the New York Times and YouTube and Google and Twitter and Facebook saying, you're public enemy number one, Alex Jones is the enemy, plus anybody else that spreads American flags. They said, well, we ban Alex Jones or anything like him or anything like American flags. We hate the America. I mean, it's on video. These are globalists. And then a lot of people that used to even be listeners, they go, oh, I'll be promoted by YouTube and make money if I attack Alex Jones. So they flip. And then people think, oh, look, you're being censored. You're not winning. No, I am winning. I'm changing the world. The way people think about only themselves. It's like if you had neighbors upstream, this is a point Ted Nugent made last week when I was at his house, and they're crapping in the river and it's coming down to your house, they don't have a right to do that, okay? And that's where we are. So we're changing the world. We expect to get attacked. They're always like, we're going to kill you. We're going to shut you up. We're like, we get that. Okay, we're here to stop you so all these innocents don't get run over. It's an instinct. It's a spirit. It's not like trying to be a hero. You can't roll over when you see him kidnapping little girls like he did in his town. He owned a tanning bed company, was making money, middle class, and I had a big, nice house. I know Robin's story. I remember seeing demonization about him 10 years ago and halfway believing it my own self. They took his house. They put him in prison. They tried to kill him. Now he's stronger than ever. So he's not doing this for his own self. He's doing it because the town he was in, it turned out 4,000 little girls were groomed for sex. Many of them kidnapped, many of them killed, many of them disappeared. This is an evil British pedophile government allied with Islam because under its tenets of radical Islam, it follows pedophilia. Everybody knows about the giant scandals of pedophilia in England. The secret dungeons, the torture, the murder of little kids, Prime Minister slitting little girls' throats. All that's coming out. The BBC is basically a giant pedophile cult. So, London Telegraph, pedophile cult runs UK. Cannot be released, will destroy national security. That's a headline. That's top police saying we're run by pedophiles who are devil worshippers. You cannot make that up. What are harems? They're slave pits of women. Yeah, and Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old. So Turkey's legalizing sex with 9-year-olds right now. You cannot make this up. So I'm going to donate $20,000 we don't have because we did last year. We brought in even more capital than we did the election year. We thought that was crazy. But because we sold stuff at such low prices, we brought in less money aggregate. But this year, it's accelerated because I just cut prices too much. Last day of the sale, free shipping, and 30 to 80% off all these bestsellers. The average is 50% off. It's got to end because we're selling out the stuff. And Tim Forget explained, he said, yeah, this is the most money we ever brought in, but it's only 5% money we keep. Alex, you got to stop. We got some other great sales tomorrow, but take advantage of these. Go click the support us, donate button. But I'm giving $20,000 because I've learned they got a bunch of crappy cameras. They don't have body cams. They need it. They could get even better intel. So I'm giving the directive right now to wire to Tommy Robinson $20,000 by tomorrow so they can get the equipment they need. They've got them trying to break in their houses, surveilling them, trying to infiltrate them. I mean, it's been amazing what's been going on to these guys. But it's like a James Bond movie, but this is the real world where the real James Bonds have $200 cameras that are broken. So I'm sending $20,000. Sounds like a lot. It's not. Takes a lot to do all this, but I need you to go to his website. Let's put it on screen because he's got a new website. It's Tommy Robinson. Now, there's the website. What is the best places? You've got a lot of these. Is it TommyRobinson.online, that awesome site? Okay, let's fade his audio back up because he didn't have his audio faded up. I'm gonna get this right this time. What's the best website, Tommy?
TommyRobinson.online. And Alex, you will get value for money because like since going independent, we haven't got the funds. And even like this Sunday, because they stopped Martin Sellner speaking in London and they deported him. I've said they may have stopped the speaker, but they won't stop the speech. So I'm going to go to Speaker's Corner. We have 300 years of history at Speaker's Corner. Some of the most controversial figures in our country's history have spoke there, from George Orwell to Karl Marx. And our government think they can stop that. Speaker's Corner has been taken over by radical Islamic jihadists. That's the only people that go there to promote their religion. Well, this Sunday at 3 o'clock, the battle for Speaker's Corner begins. Now, I know I'm going there, but we don't have the money, or we haven't had the money to get proper security. You've just given us the money to get proper security, so thank you very much. We can also get the proper equipment, and I guarantee you people will see value for money with the money you've given us, because we're going to get straight back out there.
Well, let's be clear. We haven't even struck an operational plan. We've come out for 6 months to try to get you the proper studio and do the right things. I don't want to step on Rebel's toes, so now you can work with us. But expanding on that, Tommy, it is critical that everybody else donate because that is just a drop in the bucket. So let me give people the website. Again, it's TommyRobinson.online. Whether it's $5, $25, or 50 pounds, because it's in pound denominations, they're on PayPal. Get in there, folks. Donate today because this is front-line patriots, completely outnumbered in a last-ditch effort. But people are responding. They're getting involved. What they're scared of is your leadership, your marches through no-go zones, the fact that only Muslims are allowed to have free speech now in the UK. I've seen it myself where Muslims are allowed to speak, but nobody else is. This has to be stood up against. This is absolutely devastating. So, again, people need to go to your website.
And that's vice versa, Alex, because, if it wasn't for organisations and channels like yourself, if it wasn't for people like yourself, and the only way you're coming under attack from everywhere. Every legal suit they can do, they can sue you to try and bring you down, financially destroy you. That's what they're doing. They're doing exactly the same to all the people. And the only way they'll survive is with the public support. So whether that be on my website or join on InfoWars, and all the things that you're doing or on your shop is what helps you do it, but not just by helping you do it. You give people like myself and people across Europe and people across the world who don't have a platform. If it wasn't for organisations or alternative media first giving me interviews and giving me platforms, we wouldn't have got up there. So whilst you're asking people to support us, you've just given us £20,000. You've given us the opportunity. So I'd rather people were supporting InfoWars and helping them grow and get bigger. And as you said, change the world.
And, something we need to do is when these donations come in, we need to give people credit when they want it, kind of like Ron Paul used to do. We don't even have the infrastructure. We can team up. Whoever's building your websites, we want to launch some new ones that are really slick and nice, like you've got. InfoWars is kind of informational. News Wars looks really good, but I like, the look of your new site, the team you've got. And so when we get off air today, we're going to talk about it because I've waited too long. I'm trying to hire some other people. I'm just trying to budget it. So if listeners will just go to InfoWarsStore.com, buy the products, click on the support, donate to us. I gave $100,000 to help round up pedophiles and document that. That is set to come out on television. I don't have any stake in that. I'm not trying to make money off that production. I just knew that they were blocking what was happening, so I funded it. Same thing here, $20,000. Project Veritas is now giving us the keys to win these lawsuits with Google, Facebook, and Twitter admitting they're doing it because of our political views, not for what they claim. We now can win these lawsuits. We don't want to launch them. We have to make them back off. We have to sue the people that filed false complaints. We have to sue, folks that sue us saying, we can't have a painting of Pepe the Frog. They're coming after our free speech. So InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, and also go to Mr. Robbins' website because it's critical for everybody to understand this is a war. And people that are willing to risk their lives out there, like Tommy Robinson, need your financial support today. And I'm not going to sit here while he does a great job in the field but fumbles around trying to get money for year after year after year after year when they're trying to put his ass in prison. We need to give him the equipment he needs for the information war. So go there and donate today and also buy products that you need that are great at InfoWarsStore.com. Free shipping ends today. All right, let's cut right into the broadcast. Alex Jones here. If you're listening to us on radio stations and TV stations, you are getting past the censors. They're trying to block us everywhere. We have Tommy Robinson joining us. We have Kalen, one of his amazing camera crew. I also want to get Lucy on, the woman who gave as good as she got when the cowardly Antifa thugs tried to climb on top of her. But during the break, I was asking Mr. Robinson what's coming next, and he was just telling me amazing things. I mean, he is, just like Nigel Farage woke up people politically, this is the next Nigel Farage for the next level. And if you knew his story, it is incredible how he's fighting racism, how he founded the English Defense League and then it got infiltrated by racists, so he left it and exposed it. And he's just a great guy, a great father, a great patriot. He's gone through so much. He's got this great crew of people that I want to link up with Paul Joseph Watson, who, again, is so humble. He's just a rock star politically, here in the U.S. and the U.K. When I've been in public with him in the U.K., he gets mobbed. We have to use the popularity to culturally win, or they're going to shut us down in our houses. And Paul finally got that. He said, I know, I got to do more videos. I got to get on the street. It's true. I'm not going to let them shut me down. So the fact they're trying to suppress him, he's a seed. He's going to grow. But I think when I team these guys up together, I think the strength of them is going to be frightening. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking, like with Owen Schroyer and others, people that will surpass what I've done. That's true victory. We're not in competition with other media, any of it. We're in competition with tyranny to defeat it. So Tommy Robinson, and you were telling me donations are coming in. I want to thank the listeners. That's great. And, of course, Kaylin, one of your great camera folks, you guys have got the floor for the last 7 minutes. Tell us what's coming next.
What's coming next? We want to take over the media. That's what we want to do in Europe. We want to be the people. We already are. Every time there's a terrorist attack, my name trends. Everyone searches for the truth. When they're searching for the truth, they're searching for us.
And your average video gets 5 million views now. I mean, CNN doesn't have that in 10 hours.
No, that's why they're trying to silence us. That's why they're hating us. But one thing I'd like to say is, whilst I've got the opportunity on the platform, I won't be able to do it with the people who support me, and I certainly wouldn't be able to have done any of the videos, without Kaylin, without George, without Lucy, because people give me the credit because they see me on the end of the camera, but they're risking their lives every time. They're walking into mosques for me. They're walking into hostile environments for me. They're coming under attack. George was coming under attack. Lucy come under attack. So they're putting their lives on the line, and they don't really get any gratitude for it. No. In fact, they get slagged off by people for it. So yeah, so that's mine. So I won't be able to do it without them guys. So yeah, we're built.
Let me ask him a question then before you talk about what's coming next. Kaylin, I'm familiar with your work over the last few years with Tommy. Where does this courage come from? Because they target you guys with the cameras first. I mean, what do you do when 8 guys are trying to beat you up? I mean, you don't come off as like a hooligan or anything, just a nice artistic type fellow. But I mean, I guess you're not going to let them suppress your speech. Is that it?
Well, I think when you know that there's millions of people that are going to be behind the camera lens, you kind of feel a sense of courage anyway, and you know that what they're doing is wrong, and in general, what you're doing is right, what you're showing is right, what you're exposing is right, what you're saying is right. And so that sort of gives you a sense of, of courage, of being able to just follow through with what's going to happen. You might get seriously injured and things like that might happen, but you still have so many other people who are on side, who are watching what's going on, and it is the right thing to do. And production value is our best weapon. That's the thing that we have that's blowing everyone else out of the water, that's terrifying the mainstream media. And that's the number one thing that just drives me to do all of this. I used to work in the mainstream media before this, and I just basically take their tactics and bring it here, and it's terrifying everyone. And yeah, that's where it all comes from, because you know that regardless of what happens, regardless of how bad it gets, in the end, what you're doing is still the right thing. And I think we're still on the right side of history, and that's where it all comes from.
And let's talk about real horror. I mean, I heard you 10 years ago. They said, oh, this racist, horrible guy's been put in prison. He says that they're grooming thousands of girls in his town for sex slavery. And then it came out later, a bunch of them got killed. They got shipped overseas. They chop them up and feed them to people out of kebab stands. I mean, I used to think you were crazy. And then because who believes this about, and then it's all true. And then now it's back in the news about grooming today. I mean, folks, Islamic countries are hellholes unless it's Jordan or something. I mean, and then they're seen as heretics. It's the women can't drive cars. My God, they're selling women on slave blocks. Explain to people what we're up against.
The grooming case has just come out today in the city of Telford. They've got 1,000 victims. Telford's a small town. There's not many Muslims there. There's 1,000 victims. We found out that 5 people have been murdered, and it's all been covered up. It's all been covered up. One of the victims, they set fire to her sister, and her mother. They burned them to death. The Muslim men that were raping them burned them to death. We're only just hearing about it now. This has been going on.
By the way, I had them in my stacks. Finally, the BBC has a report. Inquiry call over Telford child sex exploitation. Boom. I mean, explain how this happens. Because the police won't touch the Muslims, so literally 50-year-old men are grooming your 9-year-old daughters. Go ahead.
The BBC have only just reported on that, as you see, 1 hour ago. They've been silent. This has been going. Other media have been talking about this for 24 hours.
You broke this 10 years ago.
Yeah, when I remember going on a show with Jeremy Paxman. Jeremy Paxman was the biggest, most hostile interviewer in the country, and I sat and said to him, and people can watch back the video. I said, our daughters, not your daughters, our daughters. You don't know what we're talking about. We do. Our daughters, our sisters are being pimped, they're being beaten, they're being raped across this country by gangs of Muslim men. And he looked at me like I was stupid. He looked at me like and then years on, and I even remember after that, when I walked through Luton and I met another man, he said, out of all the things you could have spoke about, why did you speak about gangs of Muslim men targeting young English girls and he looked at me like that, and I see the same man years later, and he said, I can't believe it. I've watched everything you spoke about. I said, because I had a conversation this week, Alex, with another father who I'm going to go meet at the end of the week, whose daughter was 12 years old. They were gang raping her. They took her into a park. They poured petrol over her, pretending to set her on fire to terrify her. And this is another case.
That's to put them into Stockholm. That's to put them simulated. They'll do it with a gun or gasoline to put them into simulated Stockholm syndrome, to put them into to submit to them.
Yeah, that's it. And this is not just. It's not just about raping the women for their sexual gratification. It's about destroying them. One girl, they took her tongue, 12 years old, and they nailed it to a table. Another young girl, they got a hot iron rod with the letter M, and they burned it and heated it, and they scolded it on her bum when she was 11 years old because she was the property of Muhammad. And if you stop the average man in the British street, they won't even know that. They will not even know this has happened. And that is the true crime. If a woman gets her hijab pulled off, it's on world news. Our daughters are getting scolded on their bum with the property of Muhammad. They're getting their tongues nailed to tables. They're being raped from one end of this country to the other. And we're supposed to just tolerate and put up with it, because if not, we're racist or extremists. The Home Office are labelling me an extremist who incites religious and racial hatred for simply talking about these crimes, because it's wrong and it has to be.
And then let me raise this then. Now it's finally breaking. Another town, 1,000 girls, 5 of them dead, sex slavery, branding their asses. Excuse me. I mean, this makes me want to go berserk. Why is it now breaking? Just because they can't hide it anymore? More people recognize it, it's coming out.
Since 2009, if you look at the arrest rate is a steady flow like this. And then the English Defence League forms, and then it explodes. Because no longer, when the world's media were coming into our streets, and men were marching and screaming and shouting and holding up signs saying our daughters are not halal meat, they could hide it no longer. They've done everything they could, but they could hide it no longer. And now the cat's out of the bag, but they're still, they haven't even scratched the top.
Stay there. Tommy Robinson, folks, one of the greatest living patriots with his great crew. I want to get a final comment from both of them about what's coming next. This is amazing. And then we've got our reporters at the scene of the third bombing. We've got multiple, we got deaths. We're going to talk about it all here in Austin, probably communist bombings. Stay with us. And we now take you to the year 2018, where more than 10 million radical Islamists have been brought into Europe in just the last 5 years. The UK is desperately trying to pull out of the unelected EU. But the grandson of the most powerful Nazi industrial family, who privately owns Luxembourg via German paratroopers taking it, has pledged to break up the United States and defeat Trump. This isn't fiction. This is March 12, 2018. I'm Alex Jones. We've had 3 bombings in the last week, 2 today, fatalities. We've got people injured. We've got just a mile from our warehouse, not our broadcast facility, but our warehouse, a bomb has gone off. We've got our crew there. We're about to go to them. I'm not saying Antifa did it, but they're a violent group that says they're going to attack people that are gentrified, whether they be black, white, or Hispanic, if they're not from the neighborhood. They're attacking cat sanctuaries, physically attacking people, mugging people. They are just the filth of the earth, just vicious people with Satan tattoos and hammers and sickle tattoos. And I'm not saying tattoos are bad. I'm saying the tattoos they have are very evil. Just the scum of the earth. And now we've had Antifa scum at a radical jihadi communist mosque of Kurds discovered that Mr. Robinson was around the street, and they came over and attacked him. He fought back. Just in closing, what else is coming up? You're very, very busy. You're on the ground. If your associate, the camera guy, wants to pop back in, he's welcome. But just tell us what's coming next and any other key points.
Well, when I leave here now, I'm going to drive straight to Calais. I'm going to drive to Calais to sit down with Lauren Southern to hear about her ordeal being held by customs today in the UK. Do you know one of the things they said to her, Alex? They said to her, what's your view on, would you intend to run over Muslims with a vehicle? What would you think about that? Now, could you imagine Muslims coming into the UK and they sat them down and asked them these sort of questions? And that's what they've asked her. They've painted her as a Christian extremist. They've questioned her a lot about why she's meeting me. And I'll tell you the true reason for this. Me and Lauren Southern, we're about to partner up, and hopefully still will. We're about to partner up and do some videos together, and I think it worried them. I think the support base would have worried them, and so they've done every step they've made in the last week. Everything they're doing, even when it comes to statements they're making in the media, it's all because they're worried, and they should be worried. They should be worried because right now we're connecting and speaking to more people than ever before. People are realizing they're being lied to. The trust in the media is gone. The trust in the police is gone. People are looking elsewhere now for people that will lead them. I want to lead them. I want to lead people. I want to educate them. I want to help them. I want to show them exactly what's happening on our streets. And so long as we can stay alive doing it, what's next is we're going to expose so many problems in this country. And the thing is, when they make their decisions like they just made to ban Brittany Pettibone and deport them, they do our job. They red pill so many people. But this Sunday, I'll be in Speaker's Corner giving a speech. I'll be reading out Martin Sellner's speech, the speech that he was due to give. I'll be there this Sunday, and it will be the battle of Speaker's Corner. The police and the government thought that they would prevent this by stopping the people coming into our country. Instead, they've just created a massive swell of support. Thousands of people will be coming to Speaker's Corner, and hopefully, for the first time, it won't be ruled by Muslims this Sunday.
And by the way, I want to pick up your feed and come here Sunday. What time is that so I can line it up so we have live coverage? I'm on 4 to 6 already, but that would be basically at 10 at night where you're at. So what time is it?
It'll be 3 p.m. Sunday, Speaker's Corner. And all I want to do is when I met Martin Sellner last night, I said I couldn't care if you were handing me the Communist Manifesto to read. The point of this is not about Martin Sellner. It's not about Brittany. It's about free speech. It's about the history of our country. It's about 300 years of history of people being able to go there with controversial ideas and put them out and give their opinion.
Now, this is so big. This is so big. 9 a.m. Sunday, I'm coming in, and we're going to cover this live. So we have multiple feeds, please. I'm going to try to get Paul Watson to go and be with you there. Because I'm telling you, just like I got him to go on air, if I can just get him in the street, it's going to be huge because it's amazing. I know his girlfriend doesn't want him to get killed, but this is the real fight here, and we've got to expose these people and just hear the horrible vileness. And I know the Muslims, the radical... Sorry, go ahead.
I suspect, I have a feeling that this Sunday, for the first time in Britain's history, someone will be prevented from talking. A British man will be stopped from speaking at Speaker's Corner. But where Karl Marx, from Lenin to all controversial figures have spoke there. But right now, the difference is right now in this era, we have a Muslim population that is not allowed to be offended or upset. So I'll wait to see the government's tactic or the police's tactic. I expect to either be held, grabbed, or in a car crash before Sunday. Time will tell. All
right, that's Tommy Robinson. I will call you as soon as the broadcast is over in 20 minutes. I know you got to get on the road. You've got so much coming up. And let's just get this planning done because we've been talking a lot the last 6 months. And you've been like, hey, let's do it. And now you're out of Rebel, your contract, we can do it. So I'm very excited. And we're going to wire you $20,000 today. We're going to get that done. And people should donate there, again, at TommyRobinson.online. And folks can support us at InfoWarsStore.com. Now is the time, ladies and gentlemen. People are taking action. They're not rolling over and hiding in the suburbs and ignoring what's going on. This is on. This is the fight against the globalists, the fight for free speech. This is the 21st century tyranny. You know, people faced Hitler. They faced Lenin. They faced Mao. We are facing the globalists, the mega corporations that are running this, and we're going to defeat them. We're going to expose them. Tommy Robinson, I salute you and your team. Oh, and please, as soon as we can get Lucy Brown on, she's amazing. Go ahead.
I'll get her to message Nico now. She'll be happy to come on. And do you know why? Do you know what I said? I looked at her, and Lucy's from a completely different background from me. She's a quiet girl, a lovely girl. She did not hold back. And afterwards, I just went, Lucy, come here, darling. I love you. She absolutely...
By the way, she's a good-looking lady, but how old is she? Because I guess she has the gray hair. I thought she was older, but then she looks young.
She's 27, and she comes after them. There's a little video clip of her going after them, and she pulls one of their masks, saying, "You think you're a big man?" But she again, I don't want to. She can go through all this with you herself. But yeah, I absolutely respected her that day.
Let me tell you, it gets me excited seeing a woman kicking a commie's ass when he jumped on her first. That little piece of crap runs. Once she grabs his nose, and he's like, "Oh, you didn't know."
She wedgied him.
We're going to talk to you soon, my friend. Tommy Robinson, we salute you.
Cheers, Alex. Thanks for the support, man.
Wow, this is just epic. Man, I tell you, I was crazed when I first saw this footage for Saturday.
Oi! Right? You good, yeah? Come on, anyway. Come on. Are you held up, though? Come on,
Robinson is a best-selling author, publisher, patriot, and he also works with Rebel Media. We appreciate him joining us. MohammedQuran.com. That's at Tommy Robinson on Twitter. So Tommy Robinson joins us right now from what's left of the United Kingdom, from London, Stan. So Tommy, the only question is, why are you standing in the way of cultural enrichment? And we now know these new refugees that carried out the bombing last week had been brought in by the government in the last 2 years. When were housed, they were children at, 21 years of age. So what do we do? I mean, what do we do to stand against this?
It's knowing that is the question. We have no idea. In our generation growing up, we think that this is how life is. We think that life's perfect and it's easy and there's no war and Britain and the things that are happening around the world won't happen in Britain, but they are happening. We've seen them happening. 4 terrorist attacks in the last 4 months. They're going to happen. And right now, everyone's scared to even pull their curtains back or talk. People are scared to open their mouths. And that's because they've got most people financed up to the hill, mortgaged up to the hill, in a position where if you talk at work, you lose your job, and then you can't provide for your family, which I'd say has purposely been done as well. They've got a populace that can be controlled through fear and intimidation, starting at the top. As soon as you express your free speech, they come banging down on you and beat you down. This is time and time again. You see people in every industry in the UK who are losing their jobs, being penalised and being taken in for simply telling the truth about Islam. In our countries, you know, in Britain, if we didn't have 4 million Muslims, our leaders would be talking very differently about Islam. They would be, but once we're infected and it's in our country, which it is, and it's so powerful in our country, and it's so dangerous in our country, all of our leaders bend over backwards. And that's what we're seeing. So the West is in the process of committing suicide. I see, this is the problem. This is where it gets so, there is no peaceful solution to this. There is no way of sorting this problem out without utter chaos. Now, there's no way. So it can't be sorted, but at some point, it will have to have that utter chaos. Now, it's either the government's accept it and try and deal with it now. Now, I think it will happen when Le Pen gets in or when Wilders gets in or when one political party gets in that tries to enforce the law. The laws are already there. Tries to enforce the law upon the Islamic community, we will see mass crime. And that will spread across the whole of Europe. But that day has to happen. It has to come. America, if you're watching this, please learn from our mistakes. Please learn. You have to look at us. You have to. If I had one thing, I would wish someone come to my country 20 years ago, and I would wish they told me. I would wish that our government were warned, that our people were warned. This is what's going to happen.
Well, you're a modern Paul Revere. Thank you, Tommy. I'm so excited. The new product at InfoWarsLife.com in a glass bottle, 2-month servings, filled to the brim, filled to the absolute top, the real red pill. This is a heart and brain pill, a nootropic, but doesn't have any stimulants in it. But boy, does it stimulate, because it's beyond that. Quite frankly, I just went off what I saw medical doctors prescribing to their patients, but it wasn't prescription, but they were charging people $100, $200 for the formulae. And I came up with our own formula, working with some scientists and developers, non-GMO, made right here in America, 120 capsules. And ladies and gentlemen, you add the pregnenolone to it, which is the precursor to all the hormones that your body has to have to even make the hormones in your glands. It is amazing. Red pill, now available at InfoWarsStore.com, and your purchase funds the operation.